Buenos días, clase de Español 3. This is Señor Irvin, and welcome. Bienvenidos a Español 3 en línea, CIS Spanish 3 online. And this video should appear somewhere right here, and you'll notice there's a bunch of really relevant and important information that you need to read and that you also need to share with your parents. I will also be emailing your parents out this weekend, so hopefully by the first day of school they will have received this. But this exact same information I'm presenting to you, including this video. So basically, this video is going to explain some of the resources that you have right away to be able to go ahead and click on, join, and then make sure you bookmark these places here. And then I will go through the entire course syllabus and the course outline. Okay. So the biggest thing, or the first thing that you need to go ahead and do is there's a WK online contract here. And basically, just like last year, when you join Online Spanish, you will need to go ahead and you need to sign this document. Your parents need to sign this document. And then I will also sign the document and then turn it into the office. So that's an important thing to go ahead and get done. There's some list here of guidelines as far as what you need to do as far as behavior-wise for the online class. You've probably already read this before, but it's also included and embedded inside of the syllabus itself too. The next thing that you have there is a link to our CIS Español 3 Flipgrid. Flipgrid will be the place where you go to every single day, somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes of listening to things and responding to your classmates. It is our way of being able to interact in Español, and it is probably the most important resource that we're going to use this year to make sure that we can meet our can-do goals for each week. Each day, you should check Flipgrid for new posts, both from myself and from your classmates, and then be able to respond to those posts. And of course, you can also post new posts responding to different topics or whatever it might actually be. But this is our place where we communicate in Español. 15 to 20 minutes minimum per day you're going to be spending there. I've also provided a link to Quizlet. Super important. There's going to be a video in this the next folder that's going to be about the preterite tense, the past tense, and there's going to be a Quizlet link there with a bunch of different awesome verbs that you can go ahead and use that are all based into the past tense. Use Quizlet as a reference, as a source, but just understand none of the items on any of the exams or quizzes are based on specific words. So there's no translation. So there's a word and you have to translate it, that kind of thing. It's all the quizzes and tests are based on the outcomes, which we'll get to in just a little bit. Finally, there's a link here to Casi Crepuscular. Casi Crepuscular is going to be the first of 4 textbooks you're going to read. Novels, I guess you could say, and stories you're going to be reading. When you click on Casi Crepuscular, it's going to ask you to go ahead and make a copy of Chapter 1. Go ahead and do that to make sure you're logged into your wkfalcons.org account. Make a copy of it, and then that will be Chapter 1 of the text itself. You can print out your own copies, like I've done here. I have some copies there of the text, but you can just do them online. One of the things that I like about having a Google Doc as my document here, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you here. I have a copy of Casi Crepuscular, and you have the cover here. But what you can do as a second language student is you can actually go through, and as you start identifying different things here, like for example, you were like, okay, what does maestra mean? You forgot that it meant teacher. So you write yourself a little note here that says, what does this mean? Okay. And then that way you can ask either classmates or Señor Irvin for some help there. There's also a glossary that will be provided so that it can give you some help there too. But this will be an ongoing item that you're going to be doing, basically reading different texts in Español. This was a fun story. You probably will kind of get what it's after right away at the beginning. So that's Casi Crepuscular. Some important resources here. So let's go into the Minnesota State University syllabus and course outline. What this is telling you up at the top is obviously you're taking this for college credit through Minnesota State University. We'll probably end up having a college rep come at some point in the year, and they will explain to you basic things like how do you transfer your credits, all those kinds of things. They'll give you the little MAV cards and those types of items. But the most important thing here is that you understand that this is a college course, and the materials and the level of difficulty of the course is set at that college course level. We are first semester is Spanish 102, and then the second semester is going to be Spanish 201, just basically a continuation of the course. You can earn up to 8 credit hours. One of the most important aspects of Español 3 is the learning outcomes. Each week you will be set with some learning outcomes that you will be told at the beginning of each week, what are your goals this specific week? And you'll see that actually in the next folder. It'll say, this week, here's what we're going ahead and focusing on. The learning outcomes have to do with these 5 areas of the ACTFL can-do goals. They are interpersonal communication, which is just person-to-person talking to somebody. There's presentational speaking, which is a way of being able to go ahead and speak, but you're the focus and you're presenting out to someone. Presentational writing, of course, writing in a formal way and then presenting it. And a lot of our presentational writing will also be public, so we'll post it in blogs. Interpretive listening and interpretive reading, basically being able to listen and understand messages both auditorily, so with someone speaking, or in some sort of text that you're actually reading, and we'll do all of those things. There is a textbook. It's called Gente Nivel Básico. And it looks like this. This is the teacher's guide here. You need to pick this up from Senor Irvin's room. And actually, it's not that important in the first 2 weeks, because the first 2 weeks we're going to be doing some review lessons. They have to do with the preterite tense, the past tense. So there'll be 2 separate sets of lessons that everything you can find will be online. But you're more than welcome to come pick up the textbook, because the 3rd week, I believe, you will be starting to use the textbook in all kinds of different ways. It'll be a big reference for you. Super important. We're going to be asking and answering a bunch of questions out of the text itself, and then posting those things onto Flipgrid. Important thing about academic honesty, just understand you are a student at the university, so there's a bunch of things here written that come from Mankato, from Minnesota State University. Please make sure you read them, and you understand that there's consequences to these types of decisions, whether it be just blatant cheating or collusion or using online translators inappropriately. All of these things are important, because if you do get caught with these things, I have to report it to the university. I'll keep going down here. Course policy is basically online learning. You understand that you have to have the self-discipline and maturity to be able to personalize your learning. And I'm doing everything I possibly can on my end. I will answer all questions, and I will post as much information as you possibly need in order to reach those outcomes. But you need to do your part too. You're expected to work during those 50 minutes of assigned class periods. I have a video that's in the next folder that tells you what should I actually do during those 50 minutes, and I think I'll embed it right here so you can actually see it too. How to manage that time. And then you're going to need to work outside of class. A lot of this stuff you need to just practice more than just the 50 minutes that you are provided in class, the 250 minutes per week, let's say. You still need to practice outside of class in order to be fully prepared for the quizzes and exams, which happen to be face-to-face. Very important here. All formative and summative exams will be face-to-face. They're in person, and each of those has a component that has to do with speaking. So just make sure that when you when you're going to come in to take these tests, which can be done during 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th hours, and then also 7th hour, I'll actually be in the IMC, and you can come in and be able to take your exam any of those times. Or you can come in before school on those days, test dates, after school, or even during lunch. You can go ahead and do that. Just make sure you email me and tell me if you're going to be coming during any of those other times besides 1st through the 7th hours. I teach 5th and 6th hour Spanish 1, so I will not be available during those hours. So you have to make arrangements outside of that if that's your Spanish online Spanish hour. So make sure that you understand that the quizzes and summative assessments, I will tell you exactly what you need to be able to do, and make sure you arrange for at least 10 to 15 minutes to take the exam. The speaking portions are about 30 seconds to a minute. So they're quick. Can you answer specific questions? The things that we've been practicing, do you understand? And then there'll be some listening, some writing, and so on and so forth that you have to go ahead and respond to. If you're absent, make sure that you let me know, especially if you're absent during a test date. But basically, you're still responsible for completing all your work by the deadline. If you are unable to do that because you've been sick, you need to message me and tell me that that's the case. Late assignments, so in other words, most assignments are due on Friday. If you turn it in anytime after that, for example, Monday or Tuesday, they will be 50% reduction in points. Now, our tareas, our daily assignments, our weekly assignments, are only worth 100 points for all of the assignments that you're working on. They are graded on completion. I'm not sure why I threw it over here on this side, but I'll fix it. But they are graded on completion, and that you are participating, heavily graded on participation inside of Flipgrid. So just understand that that's where I'm really getting that grade from. And then the biggest part of your grade are the quizzes, 200 points, and then the exams, which come after the real learning units there, and then projects. We'll have some of those too. And those are where your grade comes from. It'll be total point system. Here's the grading scale. That's both for Mankato and for Wabasha Kellogg. If you miss a quiz or exam, for example, you don't show up to school on a Monday, you're sick, you have other excused absence, then on Tuesday you need to come in and take the exam. And you need to let me know that you're gone, that you're not going to be taking the exam that day and you're sick or whatever it actually might be. You understand this part, I hope. You need to check in with Barb every single day. You may be assigned a seat, and if she does assign you a seat, you need to sit in that seat. You need to ask for permission, obviously, to go to the bathroom or go get water. And then obviously, it's also expected you will work quietly in the IMC and not disrupt other people from learning. There's so much stuff to do each week, and so many things you have to practice that you shouldn't be messing around during those 50 minutes that you have as far as in class. There are some technology requirements. It says here you need a device, so you need a laptop or Chromebook or the device that's required at school, and that device needs to contain one of these webcams which has a microphone on it. If you don't have one or it's not embedded inside of your machine, you need to purchase one then, and they're $20 on Amazon. Most of the machines, I think all of the machines that we are offering as far as in the school, have a little webcam and then you can record. But if that's not the case with a device you're bringing from home, you need to make sure you purchase this right away, and then make sure that you bring that, because there's right from day one there's Flipgrid activities, which are recorded activities that you have to participate in. So let's go to the course calendar. Just really quick, give you an idea about what's happening. This is all the whole entire first semester's worth of the topics, and then also all of the quizzes. So you can go ahead and pre-plan. I'll post each one of these things inside of Schoology in the calendar, so you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm planning the test is this day, the quiz is this day, so you can make arrangements and those kinds of things. So we have weeks 1 through 18. In the middle of the semester we have, or middle of after the first quarter, we have a midterm exam. We have several projects that are at the end of the units that we are using the book for. So the first 2 weeks are kind of like a review section. You don't need the book those first couple weeks. Then weeks 3, 4, and 5 are the beginning of our real units, and we start having exams and projects at the ends of those. At the end of the semester, there's a final exam. It's on the 20th and the 21st of December, so you have 2 days to be able to finish it. And then finally, if you're going to take the class next semester, Spanish 201 will be posted again just like this, and then we'll make sure that you have the course schedule, and then you'll make arrangements there. If you have any questions, let me know. I know that's a lot of information to take in. Make sure that you read this carefully, and then if you do have any questions, let me know. Adios. Hasta la vista.